This week's parasha is the parasha of the zivug, the shidduch between Yitzchak and Rivka. Yitzchak Avinu, we know, represents midas hagvura, din, gvura. Perhaps it would have been fitting to find the perfect match for Yitzchak Avinu to find a wife who shares the same midah, the same attribute. And yet, the attribute that Rivka showed was the midah of chesed, which is the opposite of midas hagvura, and that's how they got together. Why is this so? The truth is that last week in our shir we discussed the avodah of Avram Avinu. This week we really have to discuss the avodah of Yitzchak Avinu, what midas hagvura really means. And this is very, very, there's a very major different way of looking at midas hagvura from a Jewish perspective than from a non-Jewish perspective. A non-Jewish perspective of midas hagvura is din, strict justice, din all the way, power, the power to kill. In Judaism, in Yiddishkeit, the midas hagvura represents a means of enabling chesed to come into the world. Chesed is dangerous. Chesed means all-out chesed without any constraints, without any limits. Like the mabul. The mabul was water, it was rain, it was all chesed. But if chesed comes down without any constraints, without being limited, then the chesed is going to destroy. A child begs his parents, he wants more and more and more. Parents understand that you cannot give your child everything. The chesed, they want to bestow chesed, but it's got to be constrained. And only then can chesed have a kiyum. So really, gvura is that constraint. What gvura is doing is that it's enabling a safe and secure and protective chesed to come down. That is what midas hagvura represents from a Yiddish point of view. And that's very important, because it turns out that gvura is only a means of bringing down chesed. Really, chesed is the midah, but gvura is a means, is a kli, is a vessel to be able to contain the chesed that's coming down in a secure way. That is the idea. We have a Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch is the list of laws. It's din, it's gvura. The first word of Shulchan Aruch is yisgaber, gvura. A person's got to get up early in the morning. The first words of Shulchan Aruch, Yisgaber Ka'ari, get up early like a lion. And the Shulchan Aruch continues, in order that he should be around when it gets morning, it's important to get up earlier, before daybreak, so that a Yid should experience looking out of the window and seeing daybreak. Why is that the first halacha in Shulchan Aruch? So first of all, why is it Yisgaber Ka'ari, like a lion? You see, a lion is very interesting. A lion represents gevura. He's the king of the animals. He represents gevura, the roar of a lion. But yet, if you open the Novi Yecheskel, in the first chapter, the first parak, where the heavens opened and he saw the heavenly chariot, it's very unbelievable that the lion was on the right side of the chariot. The ox was the left side. We know that right represents chesed and left represents gevura. And yet the lion whose gevura was on the right side. So the deepest Sfarim teach us that the gevura of the lion is the gevura that really reveals the chesed. We won't discuss that at length now about the lion, but Yisgaber Ka'ari means that the purpose in Judaism of Yisgaber is Ka'ari, like a lion, to bring chesed. The gevura is in order to bring down chesed into the world. And that's why the Shulchan Aruch continues, it's beautiful. You should witness and see the day break. What's the significance? We know that the night is divided into two. The first half of the night, till Chatzois, night represents gevura. Night, it's dark, it's dismal, it represents gevura. The first half of the night, till Chatzois, is gevura, like gevura that's very difficult, impossible to see the chesed that lies in that gevura. And that's why we go to sleep. We cannot understand the gevura in the first half of the night. But from Chatzois and on, one can start understanding and one can start revealing how the darkness of Galus, how darkness in general, is all just covering a light of chesed. And slowly, as it gets closer to daybreak, one sees slowly, the pnim, the inside story of Gevura, the inside story of the darkness, that it's revealing chesed until the day break, where the light of the morning that represents chesed, the light of the morning seeps through, it breaks through, it cracks through at the crack of dawn. Then we see that all the dark Gevura is all for the sake of chesed. It's all bringing down chesed in a perfect, secure, protective way, that we should be able to enjoy the chesed in a proper way. So that's why a person should get up in the morning before daybreak. He should be misgaber ka'ari. His gevura should be like the lion to reveal the chesed. When is that? Get up while it's still dark, but it's close to daybreak. And then you'll experience, somebody who experiences daybreak, do you know what he's experiencing? He's really experiencing how all the gevura is just hiding chesed, and the chesed is now being revealed. The inside story of the gevura is now being revealed. That's what daybreak is all about. And that's why King David HaMelech, who's the king, and a king represents gevura, din, melech b'mishpat yamid aretz. And David HaMelech was admoini, he was red-haired, which represents din. But David used to get up at Chatzois halayla. The Pasuk in Tehillim says in chapter 119, Chatzois laila akum loch. I rise at Chatzois, says David in Tehillim. Lahoides loch al mishpatei tzidkecha. Do you know why David gets up at Chatzois? Because David, since he's Gevura, but he represents the second half of the night. He represents the Gevura. He's going to reveal how all the Gevura is really for the sake of Hashem's chesed, to enable Kaviyachal to bestow chesed to Klal Yisrael. And that's why he says in that pasuk, Lahoides, to thank you, al mishpatei tzidkecha. Mishpat is din. Tzidkecha is chesed, leaning to chesed. David HaMelech's job is to take the Gevura and to reveal how it's all chesed. That's why he gets up at Chatzois halayla, because he wants to see the daybreak. For example, just give you one beautiful example. The Gemara says at the beginning of Brachas that David HaMelech says, my hands are full of blood. Dam is Gevura, it's din. Why is hands full of blood, says the Gemara? David HaMelech is kedei letaher isha lebala, in order to be able to be metaher, to permit a wife and a husband to be together, which means he's looking at the blood in order to permit them being together. His gevura is all for the sake of chesed, for bringing about ahava and shalom and chesed to the world. That's David HaMelech. But listen to this. We said earlier that the sharp contrast of how you view gevura in the world. So Esav, he is also gevura. He's also red-haired. He's admoini. He's red-haired. Esav represents gevura. But what does Esav do with the gevura? He uses it to murder, as the pasuk says in next week's parasha. He uses it to murder. He uses it to take the law, the gevura, the din, to take the law into his own hands. So Esav's got no connection to the whole concept of daybreak, but Yaakov has. And Esav's angel came to wrestle with Yaakov Avinu. And they wrestled. He wrestled with Yaakov Avinu all night long. Ad aloisa shacha, says the pasuk. When he got to aloisa shacha, when it was so clearly revealed that the purpose of darkness of Gevura is in order to reveal the light, the chesed of the morning, then Esav, that's it. He has nothing to say over there. He lost. Vayaki la yachala, he lost. Yaakov won, because Yaakov is the father of the Jewish people, and Yaakov understands, and Yaakov reveals how all the darkness and Gevura is really only to reveal chesed. Yaakov is alois hashachar. You know, there's a pasuk in Novi that says, Ozi baka karshacha oirecha, that the crack of dawn resembles the geula, the redemption, the ultimate redemption. And the pasuk says, Ozi baka, it's going to crack. The galus is going to crack. Kashacha oirecha, like the light of the morning that cracks open the dawn. Yiboka, Yud, Veis, Kof, Ayin is the letters of Yaakov. So in other words, Yaakov is the Alois HaShacha. So Esav, his Gevura, just for murder, to take the law into his own hands, to feel powerful. He can fight, but when it comes to Alois HaShacha, he loses. Then Yaakov takes over, because that's the beautiful Gevura that reveals the light of Chesed in the world. That's the Alois HaShacha. And that's why we begin the Shulchan Aruch this way. Because Shulchan Aruch is halacha, it's din. And people think that din, there's so many halachas that you have to keep to. It's such a strict religion, Judaism. There's so many laws. But it's all to bring down chesed. It's all to enable us to accumulate mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim for the ultimate reward in Eretz Hashem in the next world. And therefore listen to this. The most strict judgment that a Jewish din, that a Beis Din hands down, is the death penalty. Nothing's more severe than the death penalty. And the Gemara, there's a whole chapter in Maseches Sanhedrin that deals with the death penalty. And the Gemara says there over and over again, quoting the Pasuk, that when they take somebody out to execute him, they have to do it in the best possible way, and they have to do it with love for their fellow Jew. The Gemara quotes numerous times, multiple times in that chapter, the pasuk of Ahavta l'reacha kamoicha. You have to love your fellow Jew as yourself. And the Gemara uses that pasuk the whole time, multiple times, to say, Beror loy misa yofa, choose a beautiful misa. What do you mean choose a beautiful misa? A beautiful execution? What's that supposed to mean? An execution with balloons? With ribbons? What's a beautiful execution? But the Gemara there explains that they made it as painless as possible, and they used to accompany him. Talmidei Chacham would accompany him to the place where he was to be executed, to tell him that this is for his good, and it's all part of the kindness from Hashem, that he should atone his sins down here in this world, so that he should be zocha as soon as he gets to Shemaim, he should merit a portion in the world to come. It's all chesed. Anybody that witnessed an execution by Beis Din, all he saw was chesed. You hardly realize that the guy was losing his life because it was all chesed. That's din, that's Shulchan Aruch. That's the Jewish law. Jewish law is to bring chesed to the world. So that's why the Shulchan Aruch begins, Yisgaber ka'ari like a lion. Shehimu oira shacha. It's so important to see daybreak. It's so important to see how the purpose of Gevurah in Judaism is all to reveal the whole concept of chesed. Avraham Avinu performed the mitzvah of Milah. The Rambam says that the mitzvah of Milah, the purpose of the mitzvah of Milah is to minimize and constrain and control a person's taiva. Which means Milah is Gevurah, spilling blood. It's like a korban, it's Gevurah. But the purpose of it is that the person should be able to be mashpia, to be mashpia in a proper way, to be mekayim the mitzvah of pruruvu, and not that it should go in a bad direction. The pasuk says in Vayikra, chapter 20, pasuk 20, that adultery, znus, is a chesed, but it's chesed without constraint. It's all out chesed. Chas v'chalila. The purpose of mitzvahs milah is to minimize the taiva, so that a person should use this unbelievable, unlimited hashpah, source of hashpah, to give and to raise families and to fill the world with Jewish people, to be used in a proper way. So milah is gevurah. Avraham Avinu is ill from it. But nevertheless, it's all for the sake of chesed. So look at this. Avraham Avinu has just performed the mitzvah of Milah. And what's he doing now? He's looking for guests. He's ill, he's weak, he's old. But he's looking for guests, he's looking to do chesed. Because the purpose of Gevurah is only chesed. So once Avraham Avinu fulfilled this mitzvah and performed this mitzvah of Milah, which is Gevurah for the sake of chesed, he's desperate for chesed, he's desperate to bestow chasadim, he's desperate to find guests to take home for achnosis orchim. And therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mekayim a mitzvah bika cholim. The whole beginning of last week's parish is all about chesed, Avram's guests, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu coming down for the mitzvah of bika cholim. Because this is really preparing for the birth of Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak is going to bring down the beautiful, glorious Midas HaGevurah, which is really all chesed and all happiness. And that's why last week's parasha begins with this idea that Milah brought down such a hashpah of chesed into the world. And then further in the parasha, Stoim is destroyed. Stoim is the typical Midas HaGevurah, which is, by the way, in Stoim, anybody that was caught doing chesed was punishable by death. Chesed? We are a nation of Gevurah, of power, of law. You mustn't do chesed. That's so said the law of Stoim. That Gevurah is a terrible Gevurah, because it's defeating the whole purpose of Gevurah, which is in order to constrain the chesed, to be able to bring down more chesed. And therefore Stoim has to be destroyed. After Stoim is destroyed, we have the birth of Yitzchak Avinu. And Yitzchak Avinu, he brings down the real Midas HaGevurah to the world. His name is Yitzchak. Yitzchak is tzchoik. Tzchoik is laughter, happiness, but it's in the future tense. Yitzchak, the Yud at the beginning, turns it into the future. Yitzchak means that the Gevurah of Yitzchak will bring on tzchoik and happiness. Sometimes a person's got to act with gevura, but the purpose that a yid acts with gevura is for the future, in order to enable him to bring down so much chasodim. So this is the whole story of Yitzchak Avinu. This is the whole story of bringing down Midas HaGevura into the world. Gevura is only for the sake of bringing out chesed. The marriage between a husband and wife, the Sfarim say that the woman is there to bring out all the husband's inequalities. The purpose of getting married is that a zachar, a male, is potential. And the female, the nekeva, she brings out the potential of a husband. So Yitzchak is gevura, but inside that gevura is tzchoik. And the purpose of that gevura is to bring tzchoik to the world, to bring chesed, to reveal chesed to the world. So therefore it's a perfect match between Yitzchak and Rivka. Rivka is going to be the one that has the koach to bring out all the chasodim that lie within the gevura of Yitzchak. And that's why, Metz Hashem, we should be zocher to Mashiach Tzidkeinu, who's Mashiach ben David. And we know we say Magdil or Migdal Yeshua is Malkoi, va'oi say Chesed leMashiachoi. Mashiach is going to reveal the ultimate Chesed that lay in all the Gevura that Klal Yisrael Nebuch went through in all these thousands of years. Mashiach Tzidkeinu is going to reveal that this is all part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Chesed. And that's why it comes from David HaMelech, as we explained earlier. So we should be zocher to the kiyum of the pasuk, Ki govar aleinu chastoi, that the whole purpose of the Gevura, Ki govar, is only oleinu chastoi, is only to reveal the chasadim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we learn the parasha and we start discussing this week's parasha, next week's parasha, the story of Yitzchak Avinu, we should be zocher be'ez Hashem to feel the chasadim, and we should be zocher to ozi baka kashacha irecha. We should be zocher to daybreak, to see the crack of dawn, to see the ultimate redemption speedily in our days. B'meher b'yameinu, amen v'amen. A guten Erev Shabbos.